I joined in the first time going into the public speaking competition. My only goal was to, since my mom, my dad, my sister is in this club, my goal was to see how I can perhaps, beat them a little bit.
So it started on the family level.
It started at the family level.
Sibling rivalry.
Sibling
I
rivalry.
just want to be number one in the family.
That's
Is
it.
that correct?
That's it.
Good, good beginning.
I think all of us should remember that, yes, if you have talent, that's great, but talent without hard work won't get you further. But as I joined psychology, I learned that there's so many things that help me to understand what I'm feeling at the moment. And that helped me to process my thoughts. If despite doing public speaking for many years, I still feel the nerves. And I think the nerves is actually a good thing. It's good because it means that you care enough to give a good presentation. It shows that you want to give a good show. So one day, I got a comment from one of the audience members. He came up to me and said, Mahathir, I just want to share feedback with you. Your speech was good, but I can't feel you. You're not authentic.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Help University Let's Talk WhyNot podcast. We are talking with achievers and alumni of Help University. And this afternoon, it's our honor and pleasure to be interviewing a very, very distinguished graduate of the Help University program, somebody who has distinguished himself in the last 10 years as a world-class public speaker. So we welcome Mas Mahathir. Thank you, Mas, for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Goh, and so good to be here in this podcast to share what I can so that we can also inspire future help students as well.
Wonderful. And Mas, I want the audience to know that, part of Mas' amazing story, which he's going to tell us a little bit more about during the podcast, is the fact that over the last, 8-9 years in particular, he has represented Malaysia in the Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking, right? So these are over 30,000 competitors, I understand, from all countries around the world that are competing in this event, all right? 4 times, Mas, you have represented Malaysia at this international stage, all right? 4 times you have gone into the final 28, and twice you've been in the final 8. In 2022, Mas was ranked top 3 in the whole wide world, all right? And this year, we're very proud to say, Mas has been ranked number 2, so he's the runner-up, the number 2 public speaking world champion across the whole world.
Yes.
Right? So I think it's a really honor, for us to have you here today. And also, he's gone on to establish his own company, which he'll describe to us, called MicFront Public Speaking with his partner. And so he's an entrepreneur as well, right? So Mas, it's a pleasure to be with you today. And let's get started. So, what brought you into the world of competitive public speaking, of all of the skills? What attracted you to that particular field?
I wasn't always drawn into competitive speaking. In fact, if you were to go back many years, my parents would always find me to be someone who is very shy, very quiet. But it was only in 2016, after I graduated from Help University and I got my first job in a corporate training firm. And in this corporate training firm, my boss at the time, he told me, he said, Mahathir, if you want to be a better speaker and a better trainer, no choice, you must join Toastmasters.
Okay.
So I got in there. But while I was in there, I noticed that they were hosting competitions. And I never knew how big the scale of the competitions were. So I decided to just take the plunge, join in the competition for the fun of it. And from there on out, I found the bug, right? That bug that bits me that says that, you know what, you should join this competition more often. And that's how it started. Yeah.
And so looking back, I think the majority of us have never been in an environment where we are competing with the world's best in public speaking. I think many students and staff and members of the public out there, a lot of times we struggle with just normal public speaking. Speaking in front of a class, doing a board presentation, speaking to our bosses. So perhaps you can start by sharing your own journey. As you said, you were not born, a world champion public speaker. It was something that you grew into.
Yep.
So tell us a bit about what were the key skills or the key challenges, Mas, you had to overcome in order to become this, world-class public speaker.
I think the biggest challenge that I personally had to overcome was the mindset, the limiting belief that I was not able to do it. When I joined in the first time going into the public speaking competition, my only goal was to, okay, since my mom, my dad, my sister is in this club, my goal was to see how I can perhaps, beat them a little bit.
So it started on a family level.
It started at a family level.
Sibling rivalry.
Sibling rivalry.
I just want to be number one in the family.
That's
Is that correct?
That's
Okay,
it.
Good beginning.
And I still remember the very first contest, I lost to all three of them. But that in itself gave me the motivation to keep competing and coming back. But I had to overcome this limiting belief that, yes, I'm a shy boy, I'm a quiet person, but I need to make sure to know that, Mas Mahathir, you are able to speak. As long as you put your mind to it and you remember your why, you'll be able to get there. So that was the first thing that I had to overcome. The second thing that I had to overcome was ego. Yeah, I think ego is the biggest thing that pulled me back. After managing to lose with my family members, 1 year later, I was able to beat them a little bit, and I was very happy, very proud, very, very excited. But I realized quickly after that, ego is something that stopped me from going further. Yeah, and I think all of us should remember that, yes, if you have talent, that's great, but talent without hard work won't get you further. And so getting rid of that ego was a very big learning step for me to get to where I am today.
That's interesting because a lot of times I think we get nervous in public speaking when we focus on the technicalities.
Yes.
Remembering our script, the hand gestures, the technical things. But I think it's interesting that you've begun with something more psychological and emotional, which is overcoming fear, overcoming shyness, overcoming limiting beliefs. It's interesting because, of course, you studied psychology with us here in Help University many years ago. I mean, do you feel maybe that the study of psychology was helpful in breaking through some of these emotional barriers and overcoming fear to become this amazing public speaker?
Absolutely. Because when I studied psychology, first and foremost, I didn't want to study psychology. I only chose psychology because it was the safest option. What do I mean by safest option is because my sister was already in psychology in Help University. So I thought, I don't want to go to somewhere too foreign, right? I'm still a shy boy, right?
Okay.
So I followed her footsteps and joined psychology. But as I joined psychology, I learned that there's so many things that help me to understand what I'm feeling at the moment. And that helped me to process my thoughts. If I had not studied psychology, I might still be spiraling into this realm of confusion of what's happening, why am I feeling this way, why can't I overcome this feeling? So psychology did give me some understanding of where I am and where I can be.
That's amazing. So Mas, tell us a bit about the competition itself. This is a very rare thing. Many of us have never experienced something like this. So this year, for example, where was the competition held?
In Philadelphia.
So tell us a bit about the experience of being there, the final 8, I believe. So you're giving the speech. What are the emotions? What are the thoughts in your head? What are some of the things that you have to overcome in order to perform well?
Okay. Despite doing public speaking for many years, I still feel the nerves. And I think the nerves is actually a good thing. Good. It's good because it means that you care enough to give a good presentation. It shows that you want to give a good show. If you are ever not nervous before a presentation, that is a warning sign.
So that's a danger sign.
It's a danger sign. Yeah, it means that you don't care enough to give a good show, right?
Okay.
So I was nervous. And right before my time to speak, I remember backstage, I was really just trying to release all this excess energy, jumping here and there, just trying to get my thoughts right. And yeah, that was the moment that I remembered and reminded myself that I'm not here to impress the audience. And I think this is something that most people tend to mistake. When they go on stage, it is almost like they're taking a spotlight and putting it onto themselves, right? What if I make this mistake? What if I forget my lines? What if I this? What if I that? And it's so individualistic focus. So what I tend to realize is if I ground myself and remind myself, hey, you are not here to impress, you are here to add value. You are here to give to the audience. Having that short shift in the mindset helped me to put that nerves down and go up there to deliver a message that matters to my heart.
I think that's a really valuable thought. It's taking the center away from us and making it more about what impact I have on the
Yes.
audience. Right? So
Yes.
tell us, what did you actually speak about, Mas,
Okay.
at this year's World Final?
So this year's World Finals, I wanted to talk about something that is very personal to me, and at the same time, what I feel the world needs to hear, and that is on the topic of kindness.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and very specifically, not just about kindness, being the first person to show kindness. Because I believe in our world today, we tend to see a lot of people in need, right? They are facing hopelessness, loneliness, whatever kind of situations they're in. And a lot of us would choose to stand on the sidelines waiting for somebody to take that first action. But in this speech, I wanted people to say, hey, don't wait. If you be the first, you may start a ripple of kindness. Yeah.
Well, look, I think that really aligns so well with our own mission statement in Help and our name,
Yeah.
Help University. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, in a world that is so full of, we've got war, we've got famine, we've got conflict, we've got, countries within themselves and outside of themselves tearing themselves apart. There's just so much hatred, right? The world really needs a lot more compassion, right?
Yes.
Kindness and people helping one another rather than being violent towards one another.
Yes.
So I want to ask, when you look at different public speakers, right? Give different great speech givers. Each of them have distinct styles, right? Mas,
Yes.
Barack Obama is different from Martin Luther King, is different from, different people have different styles. How would you characterize your style of public speaking?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
You're right. Every speaker has their own unique traits and unique styles. Personally, for me, what I found was I am someone who is very enthusiastic and passionate speaker, which means that if I'm excited to speak, you can really see my face, my eyes, my hands, everything will start to move and show, right?
Okay.
And that I believe is my core style. Before this, I tried to learn from distinguished speakers. How does Obama speak, right? Very poised, very professional. It didn't really work out for me. It didn't really work out.
Okay.
And it ended up looking very inauthentic. So one day, I got a comment from one of the audience members. He came up to me, he said, Mahathir, I just want to share feedback with you. Your speech was good, but I can't feel you. You're not authentic.
Okay.
That feedback in itself got me thinking, is it the way that I speak? Is it the way that I am crafting my speeches? But I soon found out it's the way that I delivered my presentation. It's who I am.
Okay.
So I realized that who I am on stage and off stage should not be too far apart.
Okay.
And that's how I found out that my style is more of the enthusiastic, passionate speaker.
That's really important, right? When we talk about communication, not just in public, whether it is 3,000 people or 500 people or just one-to-one, I think you've touched upon a really key point, which is authenticity, right?
Yes.
That a listener, the person in an audience can feel whether you're being real.
Yes.
And whether you're allowing yourself to be seen, right? And vulnerable.
Yes.
And look, I remember even back in the day, you were always semangat and energetic. So I think absolutely right. I think that sort of, that sort of come true, all right? And I was going to say, I hope all of those research colloquium presentations we made you do in psychology also help hone some of that.
Definitely.
Help hone some of the public speaking that you had to do. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the organization you've started, MicFront Public Speaking, and tell us a bit about that leadership journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right? We'll be right back. So welcome back. We are here today with Mas Mahathir, our public speaking world champion representative from Malaysia. And Mas, we were just talking before the break of your journey and your evolution as a public speaker, right? Overcoming fear, believing in yourself, finding your own technique that is authentic. Now I think we'd like to get you to share a little bit about your role as an entrepreneur as well. Your amazing success in the global stage representing Malaysia in public speaking has also, I believe, helped launch a very successful public speaking company called MicFront Public Speaking.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about when did you begin MicFront and what inspired you to begin a company? Right?
Okay. So I have to take you back to 2015. That was the last year that I graduated from Help University. So in 2016, I needed a job. So I asked my dad, what can I do, right? Where can I go to? So my dad referred me to this corporate training company, and so I started my journey there. While I was going through this corporate training company, learning the ropes, I actually met my partner, my wife, Dr. Jolynn, at that company. She was my supervisor, and now she's my wife, yeah? So what happened was, while I was learning all the ropes in public speaking, she left after 3 months or so, and she started her own tuition business, just teaching around here and there. One day, she came up to me. She dropped me a message. She said, Mahathir, there's something that this school is looking for, and this school wants a public speaking curriculum.
Okay.
Would you want to partner with me to start this? So I thought to myself, okay, why not? I just go in just to see what's happening, right? So I went in and we just did a few classes here and there, and the teachers of that school started to realize the importance of public speaking. So then we started to realize, wait a minute, if this school is interested in this, could there be a potential that this market has not been fully developed yet, so we can enter this market? So my wife, Dr. Jolynn, kept pestering me, hey, Mahathir, just quit the company, join me, you know? I was like, no, I'm just here for a year, just give me some time. So after 1.5 years of convincing, I decided to leave that corporate training company, and I decided to jump both feet into this business. So I had no safety net, no nothing. I was just working on whatever I've saved up and just jumped into this business. And in 2017, December, we got our first shop lot in Bukit Jalil. It was very scary. It was very scary because we didn't know whether our income would be able to support us. And in fact, halfway through starting this business, in around June or July, we almost wanted to close shop as well because the business wasn't coming in. But we were very thankful that suddenly that era, a lot of public speaking was, the market is getting ready for public speaking, so a lot of people come in, and we did something drastic. We decided to rebrand our company name, and just by rebranding, we managed to quadruple our yearly revenue.
Fantastic. So the new name was MicFront.
No. The original name of our company was called Infinex Public Speaking. And so we asked all our... Infinex.
Infinex.
It's a combination of infinite and experience.
Okay.
So when we were sitting on a table, we were discussing why wasn't business coming in, right? So we started to ask our clients, what does Infinex mean to you? Then some of them said, oh, it sounds like an IT company, right? So nobody knew what it meant.
It does sound like an IT company.
Right, yeah. Nobody knew what it meant. So what we did was,
Yeah.
we rebranded Infinex to Mahathir Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, and just by rebranding that to that name, suddenly we have an influx of people interested to come.
Okay.
And why they want to come? They want to know whether we were affiliated with Tun Mahathir or not.
Okay.
Yeah. And fast forward to 2022.
Sure.
We wanted to franchise the business.
Sure.
And we cannot franchise the name Mahathir Academy because we had to ask permission from the Tun, right? So we said, you know what, let's scrap it, but we don't want... Yeah, we didn't want to waste the logo that was hard to design, right, the M. So we decided, let's find a name that starts with M.
Okay.
So after 2 months of thinking, we came up with MicFront Public Speaking. Yeah.
Interesting. So the names are very important.
Oh, yes.
They draw. So tell us a bit about the business. I mean, the majority of your clients, what age group are they? Are they children? Are they adults?
So we have a different age group from 5 all the way to 17. This is for our kids public speaking. Then we also work with adults and also corporate training. So that means we go to corporates, we do training in-house for them. We have public programs where they come to us as well. So we cater to this large range to help them from start to finish.
And I mean, speaking to maybe some prospective clients, what are the services you offer? But more importantly, I mean, how is your training for public speaking different from the hundreds of other companies out there that are also doing public speaking, Is there something different? Is there a unique selling point from MicFront's perspective?
Yes. Actually, when we started our public speaking company, there wasn't a lot of competition in the area. In fact, there was only about 3 to 4 public speaking centers out there. Now, if you throw a stone, you probably find someone doing public speaking somewhere, right? So what sets us apart is a few key reasons. Number one is the module that we created. Now, why do I say the modules that we created is a differentiator? It's because our modules is set in a way where the students learn the variety of public speaking. So for example, they will learn anywhere from general confidence building to debate to poetry to model United Nations. They will learn a huge array of skills.
Okay.
Some public speaking academies, they focus on just the confidence building, the delivery, remember the speech and deliver the speech. Not wrong, nothing wrong. It's just that we wanted to give our students more options.
Okay.
So we noticed that a lot of parents are interested in that because they get to dabble in so many different areas.
So there's more versatility,
Yes.
that the young people that come through your academy, they are able to deliver speeches, talks in a variety of different settings.
That's right, yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what are your plans for the future? So for you and your partner, moving forward, what is the vision for MicFront for the next 5-10 years?
Wow. Our vision has always been the same since the day we started. We wanted to be, or we want to be, the #1 public speaking center in the world. Yeah, and the reason why we are bold enough to feel that this is possible is because we are inspired by another brand that is Malaysian owned as well.
Okay.
And this Malaysian brand is an art center who is the largest in the world.
Okay.
With, if I'm not mistaken, about 600 outlets worldwide.
Wow.
So we felt that, wow, if this Malaysian could do it, I'm pretty sure we can do it at the same way, right? So that's our vision. So right now, we are actually recruiting franchisees, we're trying to expand the business, and we're slowly working on Malaysian level first before going internationally.
That's amazing. So exciting days ahead for MicFront
Yes.
and Mas Mahathir and your partner. I mean, speaking out there to a lot of maybe young people, many of them could be Help University students, some of them could be school students, it's like Mas speaking to yourself 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and you're still a child, and many of them are perhaps in need for inspiration, right? And if some of them out there are listening to this podcast and they're saying, hey, look, I too want to be one day a world champion public speaker, all right, in the Toastmasters World Championship, what is your advice to them, Mas?
I have a few advice. The first is, even if you're scared, do it anyway. I'm a fan of this quote. People who are courageous because they do it anyway despite that they are scared, right? So in anything that we do, whether you want to join public speaking or whether you want to be the best radio announcer in the world, doesn't matter what it is. If you're scared, do it, right? So that's the first step. But the second step is equally as important as well. Once you've already gotten in, you've taken that first step, the second thing most people tend not to do is to rehearse like an athlete. Yeah, this goes for any industry or whatever you're doing, right? But let's say for public speaking specifically, how many people would take this sport seriously? Not many. So what I normally do, let's say for this year's competition, I went to 30 different clubs all around the world in 30 days just to rehearse my presentation, to get feedback from a global audience, just to make sure that my speech is ready to take on the world stage. And had I not done that, I don't think I'll be able to get to where I am today. So yeah, you got to start when you're nervous, you're scared, but more importantly, you got to put in the hours and rehearse relentlessly.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
I think that's a really interesting analogy of professional sports or competitive sports, right? You're right. Many people, when we are developing a skill, whether it's public speaking, whether it's leadership, whether it is anything we are doing, cooking or whatever it is, perhaps the lesson to learn from your exceptional example is that you need to be all in, right? Mas?
Yes.
100% in. So the heart and the soul and the discipline needs to be there in pursuit of this incredibly high benchmark, right?
Yes.
And every day these incremental improvements you're making, small things, inches make champions kind of thing. So I think really inspiring. Huh? Now, one of the things we've introduced in Help University, I guess it's along the line of the same spirit of improving ourselves, growing ourselves. As you know, Help, our mission statement is to help people live a life of success and significance, right? We've been doing it for 40 years and, our vision really is to just help a whole new generation of young people find their meaning and purpose and significance in life by developing and growing themselves.
Yep.
And so we developed a few years ago something called the 8 Help Graduate Attributes that form the core curriculum for all of the subjects and programs in Help. So they talk about digital agility and social intelligence, strategic communication, mental agility, environmental and global literacy, moral courage, which is really important, resilience, wellness, and clarity of purpose. Now, as a former Help, student, a Help graduate, when you look at these 8 things, Mas, which of these do you feel resonates with yourself? That how would you rank? So the number one and number two that you feel are most important as a public speaker, but also as a CEO boss when you're interviewing candidates to come and work in MicFront. What are the top two that you're looking for?
If I were to look at these 8 graduate attributes, the 2 that really stood out for me is mental agility and strategic communication.
Why?
Okay, so let's start off with mental agility. I put that as number 1 because the first thing here is effective learning skills. A lot of us, we can learn, we can absorb, we can get knowledge from anywhere, right? We can learn. But how many of us actually put that learning into practice?
Okay.
Not many, right? So we can watch YouTube videos about book summaries
For hours.
for hours, right? But it's all going to waste if we don't do anything about it. So I believe mental agility is the number 1 thing that they need to learn. Then the second would be strategic communication, because strategic communication is not just about how you do public speaking per se. There's many areas underneath it. One of it is knowing how to even communicate and network with people, right? If you know how to communicate, you know what to say, how to be empathetic when you communicate, that in itself will set you apart from so many different candidates out there. Because the ability to know how to one-to-one communicate and one-to-many communicate, that will bring you to another level. Yeah, there was even a study that shows that people who are in the same job, but one person is able to communicate and do public speaking and present well, this person is earning 40% more than those who do not have the skill. Same job, right? Same job, same description, but suddenly 40% difference. So that's why I believe strategic communication also plays an important role.
And in many ways, I think a lot of the podcasts today, Mas, you've been sharing some really valuable insights into strategic communication, right?
Yeah.
Which in essence is, look, anytime, anywhere, any audience, knowing how to convey, right?
Yes.
And engage and connect with that audience, with any message. And to do it in a way, as you say, your style is infectious, right? It's persuasive because it's energetic, right?
Yes.
Now we're going to end, Mas, with our sort of patented and internally designed help personhood test, which is designed, help is known for psychology, so our psychology team has put a few questions together to really help unveil the real Mas Mahathir to the whole world. All right. So are you ready to be vulnerable and just answer truthfully? You'll be fine, my friend.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? Okay.
Ready.
Clear your mind, all right? Okay, let's get started. So Mas Mahathir, all right. What is your favorite dessert?
Tiramisu.
Nice. Football or badminton?
Badminton.
Apples or oranges?
Oh my gosh. I love both. Oranges.
There you go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Nice. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Nasi lemak or roti canai?
Still lemak.
What sound makes you happy?
Ooh, what sound makes me happy? Can I say cha-ching?
Nice. Yeah, very conceptual. What sound makes you sad?
Ooh. When my wife cries.
If you could have coffee with anyone in the world, right? Anyone in the world, who would it be with?
Warren Buffett.
Why?
I would like to study and pick his brain why and how he's able to turn something into $1 billion company and more.
Yeah, no, very wise man, billionaire investor. What do you do to de-stress?
This is a very good question. What I normally do to de-stress is I do a lot of hands work. For example, I would do gardening, I would play chess, I would sweep the floor, things like that. Yeah.
Nice. Sweep the floor will help make your wife a bit happy.
Yeah.
What is one personal goal that you set for yourself in this year, in 2025?
In 2025, one personal goal is to bring our company to another level. Yeah, because I tie my personal goals with my company goals because I feel the synergy is there. So our goal is to bring our outlet size from 15 to at least 18 outlets by the end of the year.
Fantastic. And you're on track?
On track.
Well done. Congratulations. Describe your perfect holiday.
My perfect holiday is when I don't have to worry about the agenda, which means I can wake up whatever time I want, go where I wanted to visit without having to worry about tour guides and whatnot. And it has to be a cold place, specifically like Japan.
Cold place. Depends on the season, by the way.
yeah,
Right?
yes.
So spring, autumn, winter. Okay, good. What does it mean in your mind to achieve significance in our lives?
Significance to me is about giving back to other people. It doesn't mean that you have the most amount of money in the world. It doesn't mean anything, but it means how much lives have you changed, touched, or contributed, and how many lives through them have changed and been contributed by that. That is significance. Because no point I have $1 billion and I die with it, but I hope that in many years to come, people will say, yes, someone did change my life.
And lastly, how do you want people to remember you?
Wow. If I could say 3 words: passionate, authentic, and a loving person.
Thank you, Mas Mahathir. Right?
Thank you.
You are now known, and thank you so much for taking time to
Thank
come
you.
and share with our students and our university community. Again, I want to end by just congratulating you, Mas. I mean, as your former lecturer, all right, and former dean, it's a real pleasure, and gives us a lot of pride to see, how successful you've become, but also I think the fact that you found something that really makes you happy.
Thank you.
That your organization, the activity that you've chosen to excel in is obviously something that is a very integral part of who you are. And you seem to be having a lot of fun, and so congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.